Bay. The day I found out my parents gave my $200,000 inheritance to fund my brother's lavish wedding was the same day I realized I held all the power. And they had no idea what was coming. My name is Rachel. I'm 32. And this is the story of how my family chose my golden child brother over me one too many times, and how I made them regret it in the most spectacular way possible. 2. Let me start with the phone call that changed everything. I was in a business meeting in Seattle when my phone buzzed. Mum. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Rachel, honey, we need to talk about Grandma's will. My heart sank. My grandmother had passed away 6 months earlier, and I knew she'd left me and my brother equal inheritances. There's been a change of plans, Mum continued, her voice nervous. Your brother's wedding is costing more than expected, and we've decided to use your inheritance to help cover it. You understand, right? You're successful. You don't need it as much as he does. I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, unable to form words. My inheritance. The money my grandmother specifically left to me, being given away to fund my 29-year-old brother's 4th engagement party venue. How much is his wedding costing? I finally asked. Well, with the venue change and the destination bachelor party and the ice sculpture and how much? Mum! Perfect timing. My brother's excessive wedding was perfect timing to steal my inheritance. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. And you didn't think to ask me? Oh, Rachel, don't be difficult. Family helps family. Besides, you have that good job. You're fine. She hung up before I could respond. I sat in that conference room for 20 minutes, staring at the wall, feeling something shift inside me. They had no idea what they'd just done. You see, 3 years earlier, my grandmother hadn't just left me money in her will, she'd done something else. Something she'd sworn me to secrecy about because she didn't want to cause family drama while she was alive. My grandmother owned 60% of my father's construction company. The company he'd been running for 30 years. The company he thought he owned outright. But Grandma had quietly bought controlling shares decades ago when my grandfather died, and she'd left them all to me. In her will, there was a letter. Rachel, your father doesn't know I own the majority of his company. I kept it secret to protect the business from his gambling problems in his youth. But you're smart, sensible, and you'll know what to do with this. The shares are yours. Use them wisely. I'd kept the secret for 6 months, planning to eventually transfer the shares back to my father as a gift. I didn't need to own his company. I had my own career. But that phone call changed everything. That night, I called the family lawyer, Mr. Henderson, who'd executed my grandmother's will. Mr. Henderson, I need to exercise my rights as majority shareholder of Davidson Construction. There was a pause. Are you sure, Rachel? Your father doesn't even know you own the company. I'm sure. I want to call a board meeting. And I want my father removed as CEO. Another pause. Rachel, this will destroy your relationship with your family. There. They already did that when they stole my inheritance for my brother's wedding. 3 weeks later, I flew home to Connecticut for the emergency board meeting my father had been summoned to. He had no idea I'd called it. I walked into that boardroom in my best suit, carrying a briefcase full of legal documents, and watched my father's face go from confusion to shock to horror as Mr. Henderson explained that I, his daughter, was actually the majority owner of his company. That's impossible, Dad stammered. Mum left the company to me. She always said she said a lot of things, I interrupted calmly. But legally, I own 60% of this company. And as of today, I'm exercising my rights. My father's face went red. You can't do this. This is my company. I built this. With Grandma's money. With Grandma's connections. On Grandma's land. You managed it, Dad. You never owned it. The board members sat in stunned silence. I continued, I'm making some changes. First, you're being removed as CEO. I'm installing an interim CEO while I audit the finances. You're firing me. I'm restructuring. You'll remain on the board with a salary, but you no longer have operational control. My father stood up, shaking with rage. This is because of the inheritance, isn't it? Because of your brother's wedding. This is because you've taught me my entire life that I don't matter. That my brother is more important. That my needs, my money, my future can be sacrificed for his comfort. So yes, Dad, this is absolutely about the wedding. He called my mother. She showed up at the office within an hour, mascara running, screaming in the lobby. How dare you! After everything we've done for you, what have you done for me? I asked calmly. Security was standing nearby, but I waved them off. Let her speak. We raised you. We fed you. We clothed you. You did the legal minimum required of parents. Meanwhile, you paid for Jason's car, his apartment, his 3 failed businesses, his college education at a private school, while I worked 2 jobs to afford community college. Should I continue? My mother's face crumpled. That's different. Jason needed more help. You were always so independent. I was independent because I had no choice. B. Because every time I asked for help, you said Jason needed it more. My brother showed up next, bursting through the doors with his fiancée Melissa. Rachel, what the hell? Dad just called me crying. You're stealing his company. I laughed. Actually laughed. I'm not stealing anything, Jason. I'm taking what's legally mine. Just like you took my inheritance. That was for my wedding. Our special day. Your 4th engagement party cost more than my entire college education. Your wedding is costing more than a house. And you thought it was appropriate to fund it with money Grandma left to me? Melissa, his fiancée, stepped forward. She was wearing what looked like a $3,000 dress for a casual Tuesday. Family is supposed to support each other. This is so selfish. I looked at her, this woman who'd been in our family for exactly 14 months, and I felt something snap. You know what's selfish? Having a $350,000 wedding while your sister drowns in student loans. Here. Having an ice sculpture of your faces while your parents steal from their daughter. Having 4 engagement parties while the person funding it gets nothing, not even a thank you. The lobby went silent. I picked up my briefcase. The company audit begins Monday. If I find any financial irregularities, and I suspect I will, there will be consequences. Jason, your wedding is in 6 weeks. I suggest you scale back. Because that $200,000, it's being transferred back to my account. Today, my mother gasped. But the venue is paid. The deposits are down. Then I guess you'll have to figure it out. Like I've had to figure out everything my entire life. I walked out of that building and didn't look back. My phone exploded. Texts, calls, voicemails. Family members I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly had opinions. I blocked them all, except my parents and brother. Let them stew. 2. The audit revealed what I suspected. My father had been skimming money from the company for years. Not huge amounts, but enough. Paying for Jason's lifestyle. Funding my mother's shopping addiction. Using company cards for personal expenses. Nothing criminal, but definitely grounds for his removal. I hired a new CEO, a woman named Patricia, who'd been CFO and actually knew how to run the company properly. Within 3 months, profits increased 40%. Turns out, nepotism is bad for business. Jason's wedding happened. Sort of. Without the $200,000, they had to scale back dramatically. No ice sculpture. No destination bachelor party. No designer dress. They got married in a local venue with about 80 guests instead of 300. It was actually tasteful. My mother cried through the whole thing, but not happy tears. Disappointed tears. Because her golden child didn't get his fairy tale moment. I didn't attend. I sent a card that said, "Congratulations on your wedding. Sorry I couldn't make it. I was busy running the family business." 6 months after I took over the company, my father had a health scare. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to scare him. He called me for the first time since the board meeting. "Rachel, I need to talk to you." We met at a coffee shop. He looked older, smaller somehow. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "For what? I wasn't going to make this easy. For everything. For always choosing Jason. For taking your inheritance. For not seeing you." I stirred my coffee. "Why did you do it? Why was he always more important?" My father was quiet for a long time. Because he needed us more. You were always so strong, so capable. We didn't worry about you. That's not love, Dad. That's neglect. You didn't worry about me because you didn't think about me at all. He started crying. This man who'd never shown emotion, sitting in a Starbucks, crying. I know, and I don't know how to fix it. You can't, I said simply. What's done is done. But you can start by treating me like I matter. By not expecting me to sacrifice myself for Jason. By respecting that I'm the majority owner of this company because Grandma trusted me, not you. He nodded. Can we try? To have a relationship. I thought about it. Maybe. But it'll be on my terms. No more stealing from me to fund Jason. No more guilt trips. No more family helps family when it only goes one direction. Okay, he whispered. Okay, it's been 2 years since I took over Davidson Construction. The company is thriving. Patricia is an excellent CEO, and I serve as chairman of the board. My father still works there, but in a diminished capacity. He's learning to accept it. Jason and Melissa had a baby. They named her after my mother, not my grandmother. I sent a gift card. My mother still doesn't speak to me. Chavez. Me for ruining Jason's wedding and humiliating the family. I've stopped caring. Some relationships aren't worth saving. But my father and I have coffee once a month now. We talk about business, about life. He asks about my work. He doesn't ask me to fund Jason's latest venture. It's not forgiveness, but it's something. Last week, I got a letter from Jason. A real letter, handwritten. Rachel, I'm sorry. I didn't understand what I was taking from you until I had a daughter. I can't imagine choosing between my children the way Mum and Dad chose. I can't imagine stealing from her future. I'm ashamed of who I was. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want you to know I see it now. I see you. I cried reading that letter. Not because it fixed anything, but because it was the first time my brother acknowledged that I'd been hurt, that I mattered. I haven't responded yet. I don't know if I will. But I kept the letter. Here's what I learned. Sometimes the only way to make your family see you is to take something they value. Sometimes standing up for yourself means burning bridges. And sometimes the best revenge is success. I didn't set out to destroy my family. I set out to protect what was mine. But in doing so, I showed them what happens when you underestimate the strong, independent daughter. I'm not sorry I took the company. I'm not sorry I took back my inheritance. Moni, Sorry it took me 32 years to realize I deserved better. If you've ever been the forgotten child, the one expected to sacrifice for the golden child, drop a comment. You're not alone. And if this story hit home, subscribe for more. Because this is just the beginning.